fame, money, adoration, a World Cup medal. Some players had all of it and threw everything away for something that landed them behind bars. This is not a list of minor scandals or parking ticket. These are serious crimes, real sentences, real prison cells, and the kind of stories that make you question everything you thought you knew about the men you watched on the biggest stage in football. 6 former World Cup stars. 6 very dark chapters. Number 6, René Higuita, Colombia, 1990 World Cup. René Higuita is one of the most iconic goalkeepers in World Cup history. He invented the scorpion kick. At Italia 90, he was Colombia's biggest personality, a goalkeeper who dribbled like a forward and orchestrated play from deep like a conductor. He was also doing business with Pablo Escobar. In 1993, Higuita was imprisoned for his involvement in a kidnapping connected to the Colombian drug lord. His role was to deliver the ransom money. Under Colombian law, profiting from a kidnapping is a crime, regardless of your role in it. He spent 7 months in a Bogota jail. The World Cup hero, the Scorpion Kickman, inside for facilitating a kidnapping arranged by the most notorious criminal in Latin American history. He came out, returned to football, and produced the Scorpion Kick against England in 1995, 2 years after his release. One of the most iconic sporting moments of the decade, by a man who had just done time for Pablo Escobar-related crimes. Football contains multitudes. Number 5, Li Tai, China, 2002 World Cup. Li Tai played for Everton in the Premier League and represented China at the 2002 World Cup, the only time China have ever qualified for the tournament. He went on to become head coach of the national team, the most prestigious footballing role in the country. In December 2024, China sentenced Li Tai to 20 years in prison as part of a sweeping crackdown on corruption in sport. He was the biggest name caught in the investigation. 20 years for bribery, corruption, and match fixing, spanning his entire management career. He had taken bribes from multiple clubs, fixed matches, and systematically corrupted Chinese football from the inside as national team head coach. The man who once represented his nation with pride on the World Cup stage became the symbol of everything that had gone wrong with Chinese football off it. 20 years in a Chinese prison at 47. Number 4, Dani Alves, Brazil, multiple World Cups. Dani Alves is one of the most decorated right-backs in football history. Champions Leagues, La Ligas, Copa Americas, an Olympic gold medal, multiple World Cups with Brazil. Widely considered the finest attacking fullback of his generation. In February 2024, he was found guilty of raping a woman in a Barcelona nightclub in December 2022 and sentenced to 4 years and 6 months in prison. He had been held since January 2023, over 14 months inside, before being released on €1 million bail pending appeal. In March 2025, a Spanish court overturned the conviction, ruling there was insufficient evidence. His lawyers declared him innocent. The victim's legal team expressed devastation. The case was appealed further. However the legal story concludes, Dani Alves spent 14 months in a Spanish prison cell after a rape conviction, one of the most famous footballers Brazil has ever produced, sitting in a cell while his World Cup medals sat at home. Number 3, Tony Vairelles, France, 1998 World Cup. Tony Vairelles earned 8 caps for France between 1998 and 2000. He was part of the French setup during its greatest era, the golden generation that won the 1998 World Cup on home soil. In 1999, he was reportedly earning more per week than Alan Shearer and Michael Owen. After retirement, his life unraveled completely. In October 2023, the Nancy Court of Appeal sentenced him to 36 months, 18 of which were suspended, for a shooting incident in 2011. His brothers received sentences for their roles in the same incident. In September 2024, France's highest court, the Court of Cassation, rejected his appeal against the active 18-month prison sentence. Final. No more appeals. The man who wore the French shirt during the 1998 World Cup era was going to prison for a shooting. His legal road exhausted 13 years after the incident. 8 caps. An active prison sentence. A story almost nobody outside France noticed, which somehow makes it more haunting. Number 2. Goleiro Bruno, Brazil. Near selection for 2010. This is the most horrific crime on this list and needs to be told plainly. Bruno Fernandes de Souza, Goleiro Bruno, was captain of Flamengo and one of Brazil's finest goalkeepers in the late 2000s. He was considered a potential 2014 World Cup selection. In 2010, his girlfriend Elisa Samudio disappeared. She was 25, had been demanding child support after Bruno denied paternity of their child. In March 2013, Bruno was sentenced to 22 years in prison for ordering her assault, torture, and murder. According to his accomplice, Samudio's body was dismembered and fed to Bruno's pet Rottweilers. After serving 6 years and 7 months, he was released pending appeal in 2017 and immediately received football contract offers. He was ordered back to prison months later. In 2019, released again to a semi-open program. In January 2023, granted full release on license. As of 2026, he has played professional football again for multiple clubs. Elisa Samudio's son, Bruninho, grew up and became a goalkeeper for Botafogo's youth team. He represents Brazil at youth level. Elisa never got to see it. The football world's relationship with Bruno Fernandes de Souza is one of the darkest chapters in the sport's history. Number 1. Robinho, Brazil, 2006 and 2010 World Cups. Robinho was a genuine superstar. At 18, he led Santos to their first national title since Pelé's era. He signed for Real Madrid. He joined Manchester City for a British transfer record. He won Serie A with AC Milan. He played at 2 World Cups for Brazil. Pelé himself had identified him as a teenager as his heir. In 2017, an Italian court convicted Robinho of gang rape following an incident in 2013 at a Milan nightclub. Police transcripts showed Robinho messaging a friend afterwards saying, "I'm laughing because I couldn't care less. The woman was completely drunk. She has no idea what happened." His conviction was upheld 3 times in Italy. Brazil does not extradite nationals, so Italy formally requested Brazil enforce the sentence at home. In March 2024, Brazil's Superior Court of Justice voted 9-2 to validate the conviction. Robinho left his apartment in Santos in a black police car and began serving 9 years at Tremembe Penitentiary, northeast of São Paulo. He continues to deny any wrongdoing. The Italian courts, which upheld the conviction across 7 years and 3 separate rulings, disagreed. 2 World Cups, a transfer record, the heir to Pelé, currently serving 9 years in a Brazilian prison for rape. That is where Robinho is today. 6 men who reached the highest point in football. 6 very different paths to a prison cell. The World Cup gives you the biggest stage on earth. What you do with the rest of your life is entirely your own choice. Subscribe if you want more stories like this.